It didn't rain yesterday. It's 10. No, but I went outside when it was raining.
All right.
That's why y'all get y'all North Face.
I got one. I think I did.
I got a hole in it somewhere.
So you had this one, which means this one is probably yours then?
Probably. Yes.
Oh, imagine that. Because you're the one that left them both on the floor.
It probably was.
And now
Leave it
it's
for Jorge. Well, no, they were over there, so I would not put it past the fact that they are Jorge's.
And now
It's November. Yes, sir.
You really think I threw them away?
I mean, you
You
said
said
it.
you did.
That's called
I'm tired.
You lying.
They passed them around.
And we did it good too. I already put it in my book.
On his.
Everybody got one. Oh, you gave me one.
Right. That's what you get for leaving it. Boom. Okay. So there are several different types and parts of a polynomial. Okay. So the first one, I should be able to give you any polynomial and you should be able to tell me how many terms there are. Okay. So a term is how many. Actually, let's make up a polynomial. Let's make it up on here. What?
How do you fold it?
We're not folding anything yet. Give me a second. It's going to be like one of those little booklets, but we're not folding it yet. Let's do -4 x to the 4th plus 2x squared minus 3x plus 7. Okay. I will show you how to fold it when we get there. Okay. So here's your polynomial. So the first thing we need to look at is how many terms are there in my polynomial. Your terms are separated by adding and subtracting. So if you look at each one, if you look at this polynomial, how many terms are there?
4. 4.
Who said 2?
You stole.
Why do you say 2?
Because the adding, right? Isn't it?
And subtracting.
What you're adding?
And subtracting.
But
It
those
says
are
being-
negatives.
But it's still subtraction. Being added or subtracted. Okay. So there are 4 terms. Okay. Your first term is this. This is your first term. Your second term is this. This is your third. And this is your fourth. So there are 4 terms. Okay. Those are your 4 terms. So because I'm going to have to like scoot this over and you're not going to be able to see this on my camera, I'm going to do it up here on the whiteboard. So this is first term. This is second. This is third. And this is fourth.
Miss Smith.
Yes.
With the exponent, you part of the term.
Yes. So your first term is -4x to the 4th. Your second term is +2x to the 2nd. Your third term is -3x. And your fourth term is +7. Okay. So the adding or the subtracting sign tells you whether your term is positive or negative. And you keep everything. You keep the number, you keep the variable, and you keep the exponent. Okay. Every term has a coefficient. Your formal definition, if a term has a variable, the number in front of the variable is the coefficient. Highlight each of the coefficients, or we can circle it. So if you look at -4x to the 4th, what is my coefficient?
-4.
-4. -4 is my coefficient. Pull this back over. So this is my coefficient. What's my coefficient of 2x squared? 2. What's my coefficient of negative 3x? Negative 3. So because that's minus 3x, it's a negative 3x. Okay. If the coefficient has nothing written there, remember, it's an invisible 1. Okay. So if you just had like plus x, your coefficient would be 1. If a term has no variable, we call it a constant. Okay? The constant takes the sign in front of it. Circle your constant if it exists. Do I have a constant?
Yeah.
What is it?
7.
Positive 7 is my constant. So this is my constant. I guess I could also point to these.
Those are also constants.
No, these are coefficients. Okay, these are coefficients. So your numbers are either going to be a coefficient because it's with a variable, or it's going to be a constant because it's without. You have something called a leading term. Your term with the highest exponent is known as your leading term. Which one of these terms has the highest exponent?
The first one.
The first one, the negative 4x to the 4th. So this right here is your leading term. Okay, you have to be careful because sometimes they're going to like intermix these where your leading term is not actually going to be in the front. Because they wrote your polynomial wrong. Technically, your polynomial should always be from your highest exponent down to your constant in order. Okay, so you can always rewrite your polynomial. Your leading term carries your leading coefficient. So what's my leading coefficient then? Negative 4. Your leading coefficient. Whoops. Coefficient is negative 4. Okay. And every polynomial is labeled by degree. It's always the degree of your leading term. What's my degree of my leading term?
What is a degree?
It's your exponent on your leading term. So 4. So the degree of this polynomial is 4. They actually call this, and we're going to look at it here in a second, they call this a quartic. 4, quarter, quartic. Okay, just like bicycle, by 2, 2 wheels. Okay. So the degree on this polynomial is 4. Okay. Questions? Okay. You're going to fold this up like a booklet and we're going to glue it in on page 86. 85 should have been your title. Okay, so you're going to fold it hot dog style first. Then fold it in half. And fold it in half. I don't care really how you fold it. As long as this back page, this blank page, is the end and the front is your, that's fine. You just need to be able to, when you glue it in, you want to glue in this blank square. You don't want to glue in over any of your definitions. Okay. That's the only thing that's going on that page. So you can take up as much room as you want, as your little heart desires.
You like.
Guys, this does not require talking. What are you trying to do, Jackson Glue?
Miss, Stephanie, y'all coach you drinking last night? No. Are you going tonight?
No. She goes trick-or-treating at her daycare. She came home with a whole Walmart bag full of candy. She don't need any more. She's 2.
We was hype. It was dancing. Hype. That's if I don't hunt it, it's the wrong folks place where we like the broke down club. Like a bad club.
I actually have everything printed, so let me see if I can gather it before you leave.
It was hot in here.
Hey,
It is always gonna be long.
yes, that's the only thing that's going on that page. So you can put it in the center. I don't care where you put it. Okay, the next piece. The next piece is the one that you got, the last one that you got yesterday, the last yellow paper you got yesterday. So it looks like this on the inside, and on the outside it says classifying polynomials by degree and by the number of terms. That'll work too. Yes, that one. Okay, so if you put it so the problems are in front of you, the top folds down over those problems and the bottom folds up over top of those 2 charts. So it'll look like this when it's folded. It'll look like this when it's folded.
Yes. You got this page.
The page you got yesterday. Those are the stuff you got today.
Did you go?
There's one of the yellow pages you got yesterday. Yes, that one.
You got candies? Are you doing tonight? So supposedly she can treat tonight.
No.
I'm going to the PJs tonight. Everybody supposed to be linking up.
Don't come to Miss Smith's house. She ain't giving out candy.
Everybody come for the food.
Listen, 4 years. I bought candy for 4 years, and nobody comes to my house. So I stopped.
Where you live?
I live in Winston.
Girl, what's Winston?
Who coming there for candy?
Why are you here?
You could just go to the Walmart. It's
Listen,
like off now.
I love you all, but I would not want to live where I teach. I love seeing you here. I love going to your sporting events. I love everything about it. But when I go to Walmart looking like crap in my pajamas, I don't want to see you.
Girl, we go to the dollar stores. We go to Walmart. That's too long.
Oh, honey, I go to the dollar store too. Goodwill is like my favorite place to shop for clothes.
That's why I shop for my like when I get bow ties and stuff.
Amen. Why not? You go to some of these places and they're like still tags on them.
Never more.
Right.
Both buy it and then they throw it.
All right. So we need to do the bottom part of this first so you can understand, and then we're going to do the top part. Okay. So we can classify a polynomial by the degree. We just got done talking about what a degree was. The degree is the highest exponent that you have. Okay. It's going to glue in on page 87. So if you open this up, if I have a degree of 0, this is called a constant.
Is it on the main part?
We're on by degree on the left-hand side. It's called a constant. Somebody give me an example. What does a constant look like?
Keep going.
27,
27, 7,
8,
-4.
132,
57,
6,
Okay?
020.
So, a constant, when I'm looking for a constant, I'm just looking for a
Number.
number, which means I have no
friends.
Kind of.
Variables.
I mean,
yeah.
variables. Okay, your variables are like your friends in that.
No, and they're like my worst enemies.
I'll give you my number.
Because they always want to be by themselves.
Okay, I can have a degree of 1, and this is called a linear. Called a linear. Somebody give me an example. What would it look like if I had a linear polynomial?
1 raised to the 1.
Nope.
X raised to the first.
X raised to the first. So something like x minus 3. That's a linear. It's a linear equation. My degree is with my x, and my degree is 1.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, sir. As long as it has to do with what we're learning right now.
I'll tell you.
Good idea.
I'll tell you.
You got hold up. You got an Instagram?
Yeah, yes.
Can I add you to this one group chat? Maybe,
No.
Maybe get no.
Okay. Okay. Andrew, you said you'll talk to me about this later.
That horn is talking to now.
Okay. So-
Put me in it. You want mine?
Not bars.
Zip it.
Guys,
You
guys.
put me in the one that y'all don't.
Zip it.
We'll talk later.
Okay. Degree of 2. If I have a degree of 2, my highest exponent should be 2.
Oh yeah, let's go.
So something like
What's it called?
7x squared plus 2x minus 3.
What's it called?
This is called a quadratic. This is the next unit that we're going to look at. So everything that we're going to look at in this unit is going to have x
Numbers.
squared. So now we've upgraded from x, which was your linear, to x squared. Okay, cubic had better have an exponent of 3.
Like one cube got like 6 sides.
Okay, this is a cubic. Okay, a degree of 4 is called a quartic. Think quarter. 4.
Can't even spell order.
So this is something with x to the 4th. So we have quartic. What do you think 5 is going to be called?
Sextic. Xtic.
How do you say 5?
5.
How do you say it when somebody has 5 children? I asked for that, didn't I? I totally opened up the door for that one. Right. I opened that door up nice and wide, and the Moore's like, here I am.
Without skipping a beat.
Right.
It came like
All right. I can't even get mad over that because I totally left that wide open. It's called a quintic. When you have 5 babies at once, they're called quints.
That's what you gonna have. The more quints.
We got me John have too.
Why you want quints?
Okay.
Because I want them to grow up. and-
All right. I totally walked into that one.
Woo, buddy. She said.
Oh.
She didn't even like flinch on that
No.
one. It was just bam, here it is.
That's a word.
All right. So this is how we classify by degree. On the other side, scoochie it over. I can classify by how many terms I have. Okay? So
Oh my God.
if I have Hi. Hi, TJ. I'm over here, TJ. Who's so hi? I know you just got your book tonight, but I'm over here, friend. Okay. If I have one term, we call this a monomial. So something like 2x. Or something like 2.
I
Or
guess-
something like x squared.
I just choose.
Okay? It doesn't matter the degree. The degree does not matter if you have a monomial.
This one term.
Okay, it's just one term. So as long as you don't have anything added or subtracted together, it's a monomial. Well, if I'm adding in two terms, what do you think we're going to call that?
A binomial.
Binomial.
Binomial. Binomial. Binomial.
So this would be something like 2x squared plus 7. I've got two terms. I've got 2x squared and I have 7.
What's up with your exes? You love your exes.
I mean, x is usually the
bad
standard.
I'm friends with all my exes. That's weird.
Listen, all my exes live in Texas.
Man, she get it right. She from the
I don't have,
White
I don't have,
All my exes.
I don't have exes.
You don't have exes?
You need to be in the group
You
chat,
did it
right?
in a group chat. You put that one hard.
All right. So we've got
It's
monomial.
literally a song.
It's a
by
big
Drake,
song.
bro.
We've got monomial. We've got binomial.
Trinomial.
We've got trinomial. 3 terms is a trinomial.
You say binomial?
Right.
No.
So something like 4x to the 4th
Plus 1 plus 1.
plus 2x minus 3. I've got 3 terms then.
Can it be 1 plus 1 plus 1?
Why could it not be that?
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Hold on. He said, can it be 1 plus 1 plus 1? And the answer is no. Why?
Do you need an X?
What happens here though?
It adds.
You can add it up to only have one term. They are alike, therefore this is only a monomial. If you look at my trinomial, I've got x to the 4th, I have x, and I have a constant. None of them are like terms, so they can't be put together, which is what makes it a trinomial. So because you gave me like terms, I can combine like terms. So, for example, let me give you this.
Is the next one a quadnomial?
No.
Let me give you this. Let's do 2x to the 4th plus 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3 minus 2x to the 3rd plus 7x. Okay. Before you classify this, you have to combine like terms first. So what can go together?
Two.
All the X.
Positive x's and negative x's.
No, the X is the X raised to the 3rd and the
Hold
X
on.
raised to the 2nd.
Hold on. You have to pay attention to the degree. The degrees are what tells you can go together. So is there anything that's x to the 4th?
No.
No. So I just dropped that.
3x and 2x.
Okay, that's gone. Do I have anything else x cubed?
Okay, see.
Yes.
Yes. I've got this and I've got this. So they go together first. So what's 3 minus 2?
1.
1.
1x.
1x to the 3rd. So now they're gone.
I have a question in my
Do I have any other x squared? No.
I have a question about the.
Do I have any other constants? No.
He's got the
Do I have any other x's? No. So this is a 5-term, not a 6. You have to combine what you can first. Yes, TJ.
So with the X cube, you would have combined you would have add the exponent.
You add them when you multiply. We're actually going to add and subtract these today, so you'll get to see.
And normally, when you have exponents that have, you normally write with the largest exponent first. And you work your way down. So this actually 7x would probably go in between the 2x squared.
You would actually write it like this, plus 7x.
They normally start with the highest exponent first and then work on down. That's how you'll see them.
But let me tell you, they're going to mix it up. Why? Because somebody's not going to pay attention.
That's clever.
I think they want to.
They want you to think. I don't necessarily say they want you to fail. They want you to think and actually look at it. If I gave you something that easy that you can just look and say, that's what it is, I'm not actually teaching you anything. So they're mixing it up to make you actually think and look at it. So the first thing I do is if I'm ever given anything like this, I put it in order from greatest to least if I have to. I change it for myself to make it easy on me. Okay. So the last one, any more than 3 terms. So 4 or more terms. They just call this a polynomial. Okay. They don't classify anything more than 3 terms. Okay. So you can have 4 terms, you can have 5 terms, you can have 6 terms, you can have 17 terms, and they're going to call it a polynomial. And they are those famous mathematicians that have bigger brains than I do. Rashawn.
So not Sean.
Hi, sweetheart. Good morning.
You get your blue.
Okay, so up top, we are now going to try to label it by the number of terms and then tell me what the degree is. So go up to your top examples. Number 1. What's the degree on number 1?
X. No, there is no degree.
1.
It's 1. Remember, if there's no exponent, it's an unwritten 1. So the first thing I would do with this is I would rewrite this so x comes first. So this is negative 2x plus 7. Because a polynomial, again, like Ms. Blackwell said, should go from your highest degree to your constant. So this is a linear because it's 1 degree. And how many terms do I have? 2. So this is a linear binomial. Okay. It's a linear binomial. Yes, my darling.
It's cool.
Okay.
If you go back over how you spell it, bye. Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. Number 2. What term should come first?
X, 8x.
Negative 5x plus 3. So if I'm labeling by degree, this is a what kind of function?
Trinomial.
Binomial.
It is a trinomial.
Oh, it's a quadrat. No,
It's a
cubic.
quadratic.
No, it's a cubic.
No, it's not. Where do you see an x cubed?
Oh, no.
It's x squared. X squared is my highest degree, so this is a quadratic. And it's a trinomial. He forgot his book bag, and these are the papers I passed yesterday. So he's got to wait till we get to the papers for today. Negative x to the 5th.
Polynomial.
Binomial.
Monomial. Okay, so I agree. Sabi said this is a monomial. What type of not monomial? Quintic.
Yep.
This is a quintic. It has a degree of 5. It's a monomial. It is 1 term. The degree of 5 tells you it's a quintic. Okay. Okay. Take a look at 4. Let's rewrite this one. Which should come first?
Negative 6x to the 4th.
Negative 6, x to the 4th. Plus x squared. Good. Plus 5.
Polynomial and
So you put them in order by the degree?
By the degree. Highest degree to lowest.
It's a trinomial.
So this is a trinomial, 3 terms.
Quartic.
no, it's not cute.
Quartic trinomial.
Trinomial.
Quadratic.
Quadratic.
This is a quartic. Okay, so that is going to be the one that is going to be the hardest for you. Okay, because I always think, and I always struggled with this too. I thought quadratic, quad, four. Quad has four wheels. So why is that not x to the fourth? So that's going to be the hardest one to remember. Quadratic is x squared. Quartic is x to the fourth.
I'll just switch it around. So they
Well,
not
it's
so
still, you still got the quad, so you're still gonna.
Yeah, I mean, quad.
So those
The only way I could distinguish it, and it took me a while, was quartic. I thought quarter, and a quarter is four for a dollar. 4 quarters and a dollar.
so the so-called they are not that very smart. Well,
I mean, I guess you could say
they're
that.
math smart, but they're not grammarly smart.
Okay, what is number 5? Monomial, good.
Monomial,
Quartic.
cubic.
It is a cubic.
Right.
Look at the three.
Don't say that.
Just the next topic.
This is a cubic monomial.
I know it.
Don't say that.
6 needs to be rewritten first. So, negative 8x cubed plus 1. It is a binomial.
Binomial cubic.
And it is cubic. Your highest degree is a 3, which puts it as a cubic. Binomial, because I have 2 terms.
Every time I keep forgetting how to spell it.
Me too.
Binomial.
I put a O first.
Just remember, it's always nomial. N-O-M-I-A-L. It's whether it's bi,
Try.
mo, or tri.
Binomial
And poly.
is the hardest.
Is binomial?
Major monogram.
Okay, this one needs to be rewritten. Which one should go in front?
2x raised to the fifth.
2x to the 5th power.
The next one is 7x.
Plus
Perfect. All right, Rayvon. 7x to the 4th
minus x right there.
minus x cubed.
Trinomial.
This is a trinomial,
20.
and it's a quintic. What was your question, Xavier? You all right? What's your question?
I want to say how was that? How was it trying to be? I thought it was
Polynomial is 4 or more terms. So I only have 3 here. 2x to the 5th is 1 term. 7x 4th is the 2nd term. Negative x cubed is the 3rd term.
He gave the size mixed up. No, he said we early.
They were looking at me. No, I agree.
Okay, this one. Does this one need rewritten?
Yes.
Yes. This one should be 2x squared plus x.
It's a
It's a what?
It's a quadratic.
Quadratic
quadratic
And a
binomial.
binomial.
and a binomial.
Man, when I get home, that's a Minecraft.
I'm eating. I'm good.
Oh yeah, I'm eating at Mr. L house. You can go down for me.
This last one is there to mess with your head.
What?
What?
There's no
Monomial.
No,
degrees, so-
you combine like terms.
We can combine like terms in this one.
So it's
It's
negative.
It's an x.
You guys do things.
See, look at that.
So we couldn't.
You got x.
I just wondered if you knew you could.
You have x and you have x. So they're the same thing. So if I put them together, you have negative 9 plus 5.
Negative 4.
Negative 4.
And it's a linear.
So this is a linear because it's just x and it's a monomial. This glues in on page 87, my friends. 87.
Too bad I already did it.
He said, too bad I already did it. Well, boom. He's like, I'm gonna get a 100 on this notebook, Miss Smith.
Do they have an ETA?
A what?
An ETA? Under your doorknob?
No, I've heard nothing since they came and took it on Tuesday.
What?
I asked first.
Listen, I have a whole bunch of people that have already asked, and I said we got to get through notes today before I send anybody anywhere.
It's TJ, then
I got
Bobby, then I don't know.
Who is Sabi?
Huh?
Who is Sabi? Who is Sabi?
So you know what?
You don't. So they're not gonna write the one. You can if it makes better sense to you, but they're not gonna have
What
it
you get
there.
so mad for? Maybe I can say
Well, you will.
Who was me?
That's what I said.
Why you get-
All
Who was the-
All right.
You gotta learn to stop taking everything to the heart. It was just a joke. I know who you are.
87, yes. All right, ladies and gents,
Hey, bro.
we're gonna do the the foldable next. So I need you to find this page. Find this page with the title page.
Oh, okay, okay.
Because we do
Bruh.
nonstop.
I'm coming to some school.
Like-
I mean, Saturday
So,
school.
next thing we hold the button and start rapping to the mic
Okay,
on the phone.
So who all
DJ.
Yes, ma'am.
I ain't coming.
Can I get some of your glue?
No,
This is
y'all were
dry.
supposed to.
Steph got some.
Does it look?
It's expensive. I spend my own money on that glue.
I'm guessing.
You said it was $1.
We going, folks.
Not my glue.
How much is it? Like 13?
No, it's like
Seven.
it's like $4. Something like that.
Oh my!
It's expensive.
There is no cap. Just think about it. Like,
That's a big old thing.
I go through probably 6 of those a year.
this blue trash.
You said it's expensive. Said somebody got an iPhone 8.
Shut up.
What?
From hot water.
Right.
No, Mom.
Okay.
She got all of it.
Yeah, all of them. You can get my brothers.
Guys, the more you waste class time, the more you're gonna have this weekend.
Can you we cool this one on?
Okay.
No, no.
I mean, don't do it. That's not my problem. That's not my grade. Yes, just like that. Yes, go for it. Okay. So this one is gonna be one of those flip books like we usually do.
Like this.
So you need to take this one with adding at the bottom. Fold it in half. So right above that you see what are polynomials.
Y'all gonna add me to the channel later.
Then you're gonna put this one inside of the next one with subtracting at the bottom and fold the top over. Rashawn, when you're done stapling, will you start a stapler on Amore's side and then bring a stapler over here and start it on Rayvon's side? I have staples, friend. So it needs to be over here. Y'all gotta understand, the budget has not been passed. Everything that's supplied in this classroom right now is stuff that I bought.
Yeah, we going to the office right now. We gonna rob the office.
It's not the office's fault, it's the state's.
We gonna rob the state there.
These politicians think that they know everything.
Making it rain on Halloween.
Here, y'all. Pass it back to him.
Sorry,
How
no.
long is it gonna take
There's
to
staples
make
in this one, or does it need staples?
Well, you meant to.
No, I need it.
I done.
Miss Smith, can I take a lot of staples out of the dresser real quick?
I'm over to
No, again, no one is going until I'm finished with notes. So stop asking or you won't go, period. Here, Daniel, we'll start with you.
I'm sorry.
I can spell it.
I was wondering when I come back from the back though.
You trying to take a dude at the school?
Duh.
Like this? This is how we run into this.
Duh. You don't know what boy be doing.
I'm gonna go in at the top.
Hey.
What's that plan?
It's coming up the row. I gave it to Daniel since I was back there already. Okay.
Oh, this way.
Because this is stuff we've already gone over, I'm going to fill this in and I want you to fill this in. While you're waiting for everybody else to staple, get this filled in.
Can't do that. Then you're gonna go and get the other one. Here, I'm talking about. Maya will be saying, man, and I get that. You get bars?
I am wet. Don't even say that.
She ain't
You don't be
freestyle.
looking at the message.
Oh, you want freestyle?
You just see that thing?
She's all right, man.
That's because I don't know what to tell you. I don't even know what to
She's
say.
got one in the group chat.
Who looks at everything like I'm saying nothing?
God. That's how people talk. I don't be
I bet you Miss Ruff will be in there rapping and stuff.
Okay. Those of you that are waiting.
You got a stapler remover?
And look, look at me, I'm like,
Look.
It's crooked.
What? But you need a magnet. No.
see your lifestyle.
No.
Okay, guys, I don't care. It has nothing to do with this class. Stop.
Here we are, we're talking about our future lives.
I don't care.
Career management.
Do that on your own time. It has nothing to do with what we're trying to learn
Okay,
today.
look,
Alright.
I'm doing this math. I live on Ave. Word is stupid.
What you talking about?
I'm not gonna need it in the future. Yeah.
But you still gonna do it.
Yeah.
Cause you don't wanna look stupid.
I do.
Not.
Yeah. See, we rapping about the work now. That better? Look, polynomial. Trinomial.
I'm just gonna say all of that.
Binomial.
Trinomial.
Comial.
Trinomial, why didn't you say?
Trinomial.
Hold on, did you?
CJ, you trash.
Vocabulary.
You can't rap.
Horizontal. Vertical. Now, example.
You suck, you can't rap.
26.
You suck, you can't.
Tassel.
That's what you.
Formula.
Do you have a,
Distance. Yeah, I think that's one.
When you're done with this, see if you can answer that first example at the bottom there. 7xy squared. What's your degree? What's your leading coefficient? What's your constant? See if you can answer those.
There is no constant.
Binary.
You ever listen?
And my degrees too.
And then I asked you to announce it. I said, see if you can do it.
Yeah, who's still?
I don't know who's worse, who's still or the other friend over there.
Oh, that's a question.
Try it. We'll go over it. You're doing it in pencil. You can erase if you made a mistake. Please don't touch anything on my desk. It does not belong to you. I don't want your little germy hands all over
This
it.
is like a bunny loud.
The teachers we get protected over there. What y'all hiding? You going crazy in the bathroom.
Shut up. What do you think about
Yeah. Administration got that for all the teachers yesterday. Don't they see?
I hit my story on that. That's why
I'm gonna take it home and feed it to my daughter. She loves caramel apples.
Let me have it.
Blowing warm air. It's actually cold outside. It needs to blow warm air.
Everybody reads.
All right. Okay, let's look at these because I guarantee you some of you struggled with this first one. What is the degree on 7xy squared? No.
One.
No.
Two.
No.
Zero.
One. Oh, no, I already
There
said.
is none.
What? Who said it?
Me. Three. And the X is
Misael
two.
said 3.
No, he did it. It was me and Sabi.
TJ. Stop. Okay. The degree on this one is 3. And Sabi, you said why? Why is it 3?
Because the X is one and then the two, so then you combine them.
X is 1, Y is 2, so the total degree is 3. What is my leading coefficient?
7.
7. What is my constant?
One.
None.
I didn't put nothing. Is that okay?
That's fine. Okay. Your constant is none. There is no constant. Remember, a constant is just a number with no variable. Take a look at the second one. What is the degree of this one?
2.
2. What's my leading coefficient? And my constant?
Nothing.
None again. Degree of this one?
3.
3. Leading coefficient?
-8.
-8. Constant? -5. Make sure you take that minus sign and make it a -5. If you tell me 5, it's wrong. The last one. Degree?
3.
3. Leading coefficient?
1. 1.
-1.
-1.
Wow.
Okay. Did we not? Go ahead, TJ.
Because there's a negative sign right in front of it. There's no number.
Okay, so look. This right here is the degree, which for
Go ahead, you're fine. Sorry. I didn't
so
mean to cross.
the that's the leading term also. That means the leading coefficient would be right here, which is the -1.
We talked
Oh, I get it.
We talked about the fact that a polynomial needs to go from the highest exponent to the constant. So you have to rewrite this one. So the leading coefficient is the number in front of the one with the highest degree. So you told me my degree is 3, so it's the coefficient in front of x cubed.
So is the exponent.
Huh?
What? So we just have to look at the exponent to see that.
You have to look at your highest exponent. So the -1 is with your 3, so that's your leading coefficient.
The next one is 4.
And my constant is 4.
Oh. I did that yesterday.
The degree is your highest.
Okay. Questions? All right. So we need to learn how to add. So flip the next page. Find the sum. So if I'm asking you to find the sum, that means we're doing addition. Okay. So we need to add like terms. So I like to do it vertically. That's just the way my mind works. So I always set it up vertically. I don't like when it's horizontal side by side. So what I usually do is I take my first polynomial and I rewrite it. So negative 2x minus 9. I take my second polynomial and I put it right underneath of that with what goes together. So where should I place x? Which term does that go with?
On the 2x.
It goes with the 2x, so I put it underneath. Where does the 4 go? What's it go with?
Under the 9.
The 9, so I put it underneath. And then I add them.
Negative x minus 5.
Okay, negative x minus 5. Negative 2 plus 1 gives me negative x. And negative 9 plus 4, negative 5. I'm such a visual person that I like to put them on top of each other. It makes it easier for me. You don't have to. If you're good horizontally and can go, okay, negative 2x goes with x, that gives me negative x. Negative 9 goes with 4. Do it that way. I don't care. Either way, it comes out to be the same answer. So in number 2, I would rewrite. We've got negative 5x plus 17. My negative 9x goes with my 5x. And my 4 goes with my 17. And I add them together.
Negative 14x plus 1.
No, it's 4x. It's 4x.
Negative 14.
No, negative 14.
It is negative 14.
I got messed up.
X plus 21. I was just trying to give everybody else a chance. You were like, boom, boom, boom.
Calm down.
Right, calm down.
It's not a race. It's not retarded.
Okay, when I do number 3 then, I've got 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. When I put down my second polynomial, 6x squared goes with my 3x, and 3x goes with my 2x.
Plus 0.
Plus 0.
It's just a placeholder. I put it there.
It's just a placeholder. You can put plus 0 if you want. Not yet, Husto. Give everybody a second. Take a deep breath. In and out. Andrew, give me the answer to this one.
3x plus 6x is 9x. And then
9x squared. Don't lose your square.
I forgot that. And then
You're fine.
2 and 3 would be what's it called? 1x.
1x or just x
And then plus 1.
plus 1. Good job, Andrew. Okay. So because there was nothing adding to my 1, we just brought it down. Okay. Take a look at this one. It goes x cubed, x, and then 1. What's this one missing?
X2. X2.
X squared. It's missing an x squared term. So make sure that you leave a little bit of a gap there. So I do this one, 6x cubed.
We went from 1, 2 to 4.
No, we didn't.
We did 3?
Yeah, we just did 3. That was the 9x squared plus x plus 1.
What?
Okay. Notice, I left myself a gap between x cubed and x because I don't have an x squared term. That way, if I'm adding something that's x squared, I have a place to put it. So I'm not putting it with anything it doesn't belong with. So when I move on to my second polynomial, my first one there is 8x squared. So that goes here because it doesn't go with any of the terms from my first polynomial. that make sense? Okay, it doesn't have a like term in the first one.
Does the 6x cubed drop down to?
Yep. So this is 10x and minus 6. So when I actually go to add this, I'm not adding anything to 6x cubed. So it's just 6x cubed. I'm not adding anything to 8x squared. So it's plus 8x squared. Then I've got negative 12 and positive 10. So negative 2x. And I've got positive 1 and negative 6. So minus 5. And that's my answer. Okay, number 5 is extra special.
I can't see it.
Because there's what's it called? This distributive property.
So,
Distribution.
number 5 is extra special. We have to distribute before we can add. So, I need to distribute this 5 through before I do anything.
I can't see that.
20x
You stapled too far down?
cubed.
No, they're all right up here for some reason.
Did you fold it wrong?
Yes.
You folded it wrong. Okay, so, you want to go up and write in while I fix this for him?
Yes.
You might sloppy.
Does he?
Yes.
Yeah. Always look at it.
Well, if you write sloppy, let him more do it then.
But more than I do it.
It's called help her, friends.
Yeah, well, if you got it.
Because you were just so rude to her.
I mean,
Who all right? She's just gonna have.
We're going to help you.
Is that 20x
Okay, so
cubed?
when I distribute that 5, I end up with 20x cubed.
Plus 11x squared.
Good. Negative 10x squared.
Oh,
Us.
wait,
Negative
what?
So minus 10x squared. Need to distribute that 3 through.
7.
21.
Why did you get a negative though?
What do I write it right here? Right here.
Careful, because that's a positive 3 and a positive 7.
But still,
So that's 21. I would put it underneath the x squared.
Okay, so what do I write? You said?
It should be 21x squared.
Right there.
Don't put it there. Put it.
That's a square. It's not cube.
Okay.
Negative 15x.
Right here? But this one doesn't have an X.
This footy is footy.
Like right here?
Okay.
So you
Minus-
cross that out, put it over
All right,
here.
I got it.
She messed it up.
It's fine. All right,
she wanted to roll.
you're fine. So, take a look. She didn't leave a gap for the fact that there was no x in that first polynomial. So, that left her kind of in a bind. So now when I take that through the negative 5x, because we've already done this, 3 times negative 5x is negative 15x. And 3 times negative 4 is negative 12.
Which your entry code.
So now we have to combine like terms. There's nothing in my x squared. So that's 20.
You mean cube?
X cubed. Yeah, sorry. X cubed. Negative 10 plus 21
11x.
is 11x squared. There's nothing to add to my x, so we just bring down negative 15x. And 5 and negative 12 is negative 7. Okay, guys, we are going to put a pause on this for today. we will continue with this on Monday and move into multiplying on Monday. Okay, so before you go though, we need to glue these in so you do not lose them. So this piece will glue in on page 88. And that last piece that you have will glue in on page 89. So glue this in on 88 and then 89.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Why do you pull out your
Yes.